What's up, basketball world? It's been a minute since I've uploaded a video, but nonetheless, we're going to watch a film session today of Trae Young, and the goal is to watch a number of possessions so that we can study the game and help you players, get better at your game. Now, first, I have a point guard shooting workout, and if you would like a copy of it, all you got to do is subscribe to this channel. Once you subscribe, I want you to leave a comment below, and you can write whatever you want. Subscribed, I just subscribed, whatever, and then let me know how you want to receive that workout. I can DM you on Instagram, I can email you, I can send you a DM on Twitter, whatever you need, I will deliver that workout. Just leave a comment below after you subscribe, letting me know, and I'll send it over to you. Send it however you want. All right, now let's look into this film of Trae Young. The goal is to just look at these individual skills or reads or little things that he does that I think players can take and add into their game. So without further ado, let's look here at the first clip. All right, these first couple clips, we're gonna look at some finishing tips that he does. So let's watch this first clip through. He goes by the defender here and obviously gets a wide open layup, but let's notice a couple things first. So one, in basketball, you don't just have to know your skills, you have to understand the spacing of all your teammates. So he has more room to drive on his left side of the floor, so on this side of the floor, because there's less teammates over there. As opposed to on this side of the floor, obviously you got kind of John Collins and these two guys. You've got three defenders on this side of the floor, and then on the top side of the floor you got one. So first of all, this is a much better driving opportunity this side than over on this half of the floor. So that's first. Now, as he drives and gets by his defender, look at his body angle. His shoulders are down, the trunk of his body is almost parallel to the ground. A lot of players will make the mistake where their body is straight up and down, but that's not how you drive. You drive by somebody with your body angle like this. Okay, so he doesn't initially beat his defender like very quickly, but he stays persistent with it and tries to keep going by him. And then at the end, he bumps into his defender slightly to create an advantage at the rim. So watch here. Right here, he drives towards his defender. And as you can see, watch his defender. His defender goes from the elbow and kind of bounces off towards the middle of the lane, which allows Trae Young to get that separation right here for a wide open layup. So the thing to learn here, and I think we'll see in these next couple clips, as you're driving, use your inside shoulder to bump into the defender to create an advantage. Don't push off with your forearm, but just use your shoulder. Wide open layup. All right, next clip is in transition. This is a very, very simple move. It's a left hand inside out dribble. So we'll say, just like the last clip, you've got to understand spacing. In this clip right here, none of the Detroit Pistons defenders are in help position. So these two defenders right here, they are above the ball, meaning like this line going straight across the court here from where Trae Young is with the basketball. They are above that line. And there's really only one help defender, which is Derrick Rose, and he's not even in a good stance. So this is a good driving opportunity. Trae Young uses a very simple left hand inside out dribble. So you can watch it here. This is a dribble players of all ages need to practice. But watch how far across his body this dribble goes. It goes basically from one hip. It goes from one hip to the other. It goes from one hip to the other. And then after he drives, he's trying to stay in a straight line to the basket. So right here, once he's by his initial defender, the goal is to not dribble closer to either of these two help defenders. He's trying to now get away from these two help defenders and just get straight to the rim. So he's going to push the basketball out ahead of the defense as well. Watch him push it out right there, and then he's got a layup. So inside out dribble, and then this push dribble right here. See how far his left arm is in front of him? That's going to help him gain speed to get to the rim. Then he's got a wide open layup. All right, next clip is another inside out dribble. And after his inside out dribble, he reestablishes a straight line drive. So you can see this inside out dribble is very subtle. It's not a huge move, but watch the defender here. Watch Serge Ibaka. We'll watch him. Obviously he gets blown by, but watch, as soon as Trae Young does that inside out dribble, it causes the defender here to just double guess, or I should say question, how he's covering the ball. And now the defense, look at this stance right here. This leg is almost extended. His weight on his body is not evenly distributed, so Trae Young now has an advantage. Now, once he gets at this angle right here, Trae Young is trying to go straight to the rim and avoid this help defender. If the help defender slides in all the way, then Trae Young would kick it to the corner for a three. But the defender kind of fakes a help. And then something else he does here is he protects the ball. So watch right here. That was full speed. Now, right here, he picks it up with two hands, and he rips the ball with two hands away from this help defender. What you don't want to do is just keep the ball right at your waist. You want to be strong with it, bring it away from the defense, and then get off a quick release. Moving to the next clip. This one's very simple. This is just a transition bucket. But the key here, let's watch it full speed here and just watch how he uses his left shoulder, his inside shoulder, to bump into the defense, which is going to give him separation at the rim. So going full speed, bumps into his defense, causes separation. So let's just look at it half speed. So here he's going. Now he plants off of this right foot. He uses his left shoulder to lean into the defense. And that's going to create this separation right here as he gets through the help and finishes at the rim. Something else this does, when he steps off of his right foot, this defender right here, the rim protector, Serge Ibaka, he almost thinks Trae Young might be doing a Euro step. So the rim defender, he kind of guesses and goes that way, and then he misses the opportunity to just stay in front of the ball. So this is much of the same right here. Going down in transition. He's reading the floor too. So on the top side of the floor, you have one, well, we'll say we won't count him, he's in the middle. But on the top side, you got one help defender who's already in the paint, and then you got Jason Tatum on the other wing. So you have two help defenders up top, and then on this half of the floor, you only have one help defender. So he chooses the right side, or the right side of the floor, but the correct side of the floor to attack, but he simply changes speeds, bumps into the defense here with his left shoulder, and then finishes at the rim. So let's watch it again. One thing else that this does, when he bumps into the defender, watch how he gains balance and he slows down. He stays on balance off of that bump and he's not out of control. Now, one thing I would add to this as he goes to the rim, I don't know this player right here, but this player right here, if they're a three-point shooter, they need to slide down to the corner and then just to be available for a three-point kick out. Or what they could do, this player right here, if they're a bad three-point shooter but a great finisher, the defender right here, Jaylen Brown, has no idea where he is. So he could just cut straight to the rim. And then if the situation happened where Trae Young can't get a shot off, he can hit this hitting cutter or his teammate relocating in the corner. Sorry about the closed captions here on this particular clip, but we're moving on to something else here that he does. So these are ball screens. This is a drag screen, D-R-A-G. This is just a ball screen set at the top of the key in transition. So it's early in the shot clock, 5 seconds into the shot clock, and we're setting a drag screen. So something Trae Young does here, let's go through it full speed one time. He's going to get the defender on his back. That's what I call it. getting, and when I say I call it, there's a million other people who've called it that before me, so I'm not taking credit for it. You can call it putting the defender in jail, blah, 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 whatever you want to call this. But Trae Young is going to come off the ball screen and get the defender on his back. So you can see right here, Trae Young gets in a wide, low stance, and he's going to cut this defender off. After the ball screen, the Trae Young's defender, he's doing the best job he can to either, one, contest the shot if Trae Young pulls up, but two, he's trying to get back in front of the basketball as fast as possible. Trae Young, by getting the defender on his back, Trae Young is now preventing this defender from getting back in front of him. So what you have now is the big, which is Andre Drummond right here. Andre Drummond has to make the decision. Is he going to step up and stop Trae Young, or is he going to stay with his man, the screener, as he dives to the rim? So Trae Young has the defender on his back, and now it's basically a 2-on-1. So if Andre Drummond steps up, then Trae Young will pass. If the on-ball defender right here, if Andre Drummond stays back, Trae Young shoots a floater, and that's what he does. So you'll go, let's watch it here. Gets the defender on his back, reading Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond doesn't step up. We shoot the floater. And then this is the similar concept. Not exactly the same play, but a similar concept. Trae Young is going to attack. He's going to get the defender on his back. And this is this is kind of a crazy shot. And the spacing of the offense right now is very poor. Like, you got an offensive player. You got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 3.5 defenders. This guy's foot's in the paint. But this is just very poor spacing. First of all, if the best play right here would have been the pass to Kevin Huerter right here for 3, because he's wide open. But nonetheless, the point here of this play, something you can add to your toolbox as players, is to get the defender on your back. So Trae Young came off the ball screen, cuts the defender off, and then gets off the shot. I don't think he makes the right read here, but nonetheless, gets the defender on his back and gets the bucket. All right. So next play, this is much of the same thing. I won't go into too much detail here, but this is just a double drag. So two guys setting a ball screen. Trae Young comes off the ball screen, gets Chris Paul on his back, and now Trae Young is reading the defender right here. So if the defender steps up, Trae Young will dump it off to the big, pass it to the big. If the defense stays back, which he does here, Trae Young will shoot. And he does. Now, this is important to know too. Great players have great basketball IQ, and this is something else that adds to your IQ. From the defensive perspective, so just put your mind in this guy's shoes, this defender's shoes. So this defender's trying to confuse Trae Young. He wants to make Trae Young think, oh man, is he going to step up or stay back? Step up or stay back? So this big right here doesn't really fully commit to one or the other, but this big right here can be stunting, which basically just means they're going to take a step towards Trae Young and fake as if they're going to pick up Trae Young and then retreat back to their man somewhere in the paint area. But that's some defensive IQ. All right, another one. So first of all, well, let's just watch it full speed. You'll see he gets the defender on his back and draws a foul. So same skill there. You can count getting the defender on your back just like you could count a crossover, a between the legs move, a spin move, whatever. All these skills are things you add to your skills package. So as we're looking through it, Trae Young first sets up the ball screen. And what this does, even though it's still well defended, just this inside out dribble that he does with his left hand, you can see what it does to the defense right here. And this isn't a moment, listen, this is like, you can think, oh, look at his ankles, look at his knees, oh, and get off the bench. All that's a bunch of immature bullcrap. Serious players don't really care about that. They just want to score points and get stops. So who cares what this guy looks like? But nonetheless, who cares what he looks like in terms of, oh, I got him, all that crap. All that matters is Trae Young used an inside-out dribble, which got his defender off balance. That's a good thing. Now, as he comes off the screen here, he is very tight. So Trae Young's hip can basically touch the screener's hip. He's coming off the screen very tight. And then as he attacks, He's trying to go from this point right here into a straight line to the rim. What a lot of players do is they will drag this dribble out into the help defense so that they dribble right into the help. What you want to do here is keep the ball towards the middle of the floor. So this is the midline of the floor. If you could imagine a piece of tape on the floor right here. You want the ball, or if you have the ball, you want to stay towards the midline, because now you're going to attract both help defenders towards the middle of the floor, and then if both of these defenders go to the middle of the floor, you can kick it out for a three, which John Collins isn't really a three-point shooter, but Herder is. So keep the ball in the middle of the floor as he's coming off the screen, but now he gets the defender on his back, and we find ourselves in the exact same position. If this guy steps up, he will pass to the roller. If this guy does not step up, then we'll shoot it. Sure enough, does not step up. Trae Young shoots and gets an and one. Now, one last thing here is the spacing. This might be by design, but if this was just a basic motion offense, then Herder right here should just stay in the deep corner so that Trae Young can still see him and make that pass. Nonetheless, basketball's not perfect. They still score. All right, let's watch this next play all the way through. All right, so first of all, this is pitiful defense by Ben Simmons. So watch. His knees, this just really frustrates me. You got an all-star player who stands in a stance like this. Whatever. Bad defense. Nonetheless, Trae Young comes off the ball screen, and we're going to look at some of the same principles again. So as he comes off the screen, he could be a little tighter, but I think this is John Collins. Yeah, John Collins probably could have set this screen a little bit higher, so maybe shifted up the floor just one stride, but still gets the job done. As Trae Young's coming off the screen right here, he's making a couple reads. First of all, these help defenders, if the help slides in, if this help committed all the way to Trae Young, then Trae would have passed to Vince Carter for a three. But the help does not commit. And the whole time, Trae Young is just reading Joel Embiid. So Trae Young is making this read. If Joel Embiid steps up to commit to Trae Young, then he will pass to John Collins, and we know the story. If he stays back, Trae Young will shoot. Now, one more thing I'll add to this. This type of shot right here, we'll run it back a couple times. This 1 foot floater right here, Trae Young mastered it. Old Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, he mastered this shot. I think, honestly, I haven't seen Steph Curry do this much, but just because I haven't seen him do it a ton doesn't mean he's not good at it or doesn't do it a lot. He might. But this is a shot that Trae Young has mastered. So he's mastered these reads, but this is just a specific skill that he's really good at. This 1 foot, where he's got 1 foot in the paint, and he shoots this high arcing floater to get over bigs. Notice he's not going full speed sprint. He's under control, nice composed, gets it up, and obviously makes it. All right, I think this is the last clip. Let's see. Okay, no, we got two more. All right, so this is much of the same. I'm not going to repeat myself here. But coming off the ball screen, even though he doesn't make contact right here, the principle still remains the same of keeping the defense behind you. So you've basically got, with this guy out of the play, you basically have a mini 2-on-1. So you got the roller and Trae Young against Joel Embiid. That doesn't mean that these players, Ben Simmons and this other Tobias Harris, are out of the picture, but you basically have a mini 2-on-1. Trae Young gets into the paint. He's slow, he's under control, and he's balanced, and he has mastered this 2 foot floater shot, and he gets it in there for 2 points. Last clip right here. Now, this is a ball screen, and we'll see there's a lot to this. So first of all, you can see how the ball screen is designed by the offense. John Collins, his chest is pointed towards this sideline, and he's set up so that Trae Young can dribble off of this screen and attack down the middle of the lane. But the defense plays a coverage. This coverage is known as ice, blue, down. There's a lot of terms for it. But basically, Patty Mills and the Spurs, they want to keep the basketball on the sideline. They don't want Trae Young dribbling down the middle of the floor, and they don't want him passing to the opposite side. Basically, they're shrinking the floor because the ball is, if Trae Young gets to the middle of the floor, he's more of a threat than if he's just on the left side of the floor. Nonetheless, Trae Young and John Collins make the right read. So Trae Young basically realizes, okay, they're keeping me on the sideline. They don't want me attacking the middle. So I'm going to hold my spot right here for just a second. John Collins is going to re-angle. So John Collins is going to set a step-up screen where now, instead of his chest facing the sideline, now John Collins, his chest is facing the half-court line or the opposite baseline. So this is important both from the ball screener, so from the screener's perspective, and the ball handler. The ball handler has to realize this, and the screener has to realize this. If you're a guard watching this, you've got to make sure that your teammates know to set this kind of screen, and vice versa. If you're a big watching this and you set a lot of screens, well, you need to communicate with your ball handler as well. And the communication could be something like John Collins could be saying, hold up, or wait. But as we shift towards focusing on Trae Young knows the coverage. He knows what type of screen is coming. He takes 2 or 3 dribbles to wait for that screen. And now as he comes off, it's coming off the screen tight, and he's reading the big. LaMarcus Aldridge plays off. Patty Mills goes over the screen right here, which is perfect opportunity for Trae Young to do what he does so well, which is shoot the 3. Now, if, let's say, LaMarcus Aldridge's feet, kind of a tongue twister, if his feet were on the 3-point line or above, then Trae Young would have to make the read to drive by him. But his feet are well below the 3-point line, and he's retracting going towards the rim. So Trae Young has a wide open 3. And that's it for this. Hold on a second. Let's see him make it. There we go. Okay, so those were some good clips and some great concepts and skills and things to look at that you can add to your game. Trae Young is a world-class player, so don't compare yourself to Trae Young, although that's fine if you want to dream and all that. That's awesome. But the main thing is try to take those skills or those reads just one at a time and add them to your game. Keep your game simple, but also understand you got to practice these things. So you take what you look at on film, you take whatever you learned on film, and then you have to go out in your driveway in the park and you got to practice these things. I don't know in how many videos I'll say this, but add defense if you can. So as you're working on putting the defender on your back, for example, like we just watched, go set a chair up on the court and have a defender or your teammate or your friend or whatever, and just have them go over each screen, work on setting up the screen, getting the defender on your back, shooting a floater, whatever. You can work with defense, work without defense. But make sure you practice these things and keep it simple. Just add one thing at a time. If you want that free shooting workout, just make sure you subscribe. Let me know you subscribed in the comments below, and then let me know how you want to receive it, and I'll send it to you. DM, email, whatever. Thank y'all for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Hope everybody is safe and well. Also, during this time, I know it's crazy with coronavirus, COVID-19, but my thoughts and prayers out to everybody watching this. Hope you're well, and talk to you soon.